The only engine capacity presented on the Nissan Dayz I model is 659 cubic centimeters (cm), 0.7 liters, with and without turbocharging. Both engines have an identical design, differing only in the presence of a turbocharger. These are aluminum inline 3-cylinder power units with distributed injection and timing chain drive. The naturally aspirated engine has a small maximum power of 59 horsepower, and the turbocharged version adds several horses, up to 64. Therefore, the Nissan Dayz I cannot be called a racing car, but this power is enough for leisurely movement around the city. An interesting fact is the weight of the power units, up to 69 kilograms. For such a lightweight and small cylinder volume, the engine can be called durable. The manufacturer has specified a service life of 200,000 kilometers with timely maintenance. Engine maintenance consists, in addition to replacing technical fluids, in adjusting the thermal clearances of the valves, because there are no hydraulic compensators in this engine. The procedure must be carried out every 80 to 100,000 kilometers. Also, with a mileage of over 150,000 kilometers, it is necessary to listen to the motor in order to promptly identify possible chain stretching and prevent fatal consequences for the motor. Like any other engine made of aluminum, this power unit is intolerant to overheating. Therefore, it is important to carefully monitor the temperature of the coolant, replace it in a timely manner and control the level of antifreeze, of which there is only 3.4 liters in the system. Otherwise, even the slightest overheating is fraught with damage to the plane of the cylinder head and further major repairs. Another typical problem with Dayz I is the sudden inability to start the car. In most cases, the malfunction is associated with leaking spark plug well sealing rings. To start, you must dry the spark plugs and replace the gaskets immediately. As for fuel consumption, in eco mode on the highway you can keep within 3.5 liters, city consumption does not exceed 7 liters per 100 kilometers. The Nissan Dayz I is equipped with a JF015E variator from the world leader in the production of variator Jatco. The design of this gearbox is quite complex. In addition to the V-belt variator, the transmission contains a torque converter and a 2-stage planetary gearbox. This was done to reduce the size of the unit itself, which made it possible to install it on K cars. Despite the fact that the endurance reserve of this box is more than enough for the low-power Nissan Dayz I, complaints about operational problems from car owners do occur. The most common failure of a variator is contamination of the oil with metal particles from worn pulleys. The chips, in turn, wear out the valve body, which leads to uneven pressure and jolts of the box. In addition to the torque converter, chips can get into the pump valve and pressure regulators. These troubles can happen already on short runs of 50 to 60,000 kilometers. Therefore, it is recommended to change the fluid and filter to original ones every 40,000 kilometers. Mileage. You should also avoid driving aggressively in a cold car, as at this moment the clutches are subject to the greatest wear. A common reason for a visit to a service station is the car's refusal to move in reverse. The breakdown occurs suddenly due to the separation of the gearbox gear from the hub. There are also regular complaints about shaft bearings, so owners of Nissan Dayz need to immediately contact a specialist if noise occurs in the variator. This will help extend the life of the box. The car's chassis consists of a MacPherson-type independent suspension at the front and trailing arms at the rear. Under ideal road conditions, the suspension lasts more than 100,000 kilometers without intervention, but with frequent full loads or driving on uneven roads, repairs may be needed much earlier, by 60,000 mileage. The first to fail are the stabilizer struts and bushings, as well as the steering rods. The vulnerabilities typical for the model are absent due to the classic design of the suspension, but it is worth considering the class of the car. So, for example, while driving with 3 passengers, when driving over speed bumps, the rear shock absorbers will probably hit the support, which affects its service life. From the factory, the car is equipped with wheels of a small, and at the same time quite rare size, 155/65 R14, therefore, for comfortable movement on Russian roads, especially in winter. In addition to installing spacers to increase ground clearance, it is recommended to replace the tires with a higher profile. Nissan Dayz I is certainly an ideal car for a metropolis. Its high maneuverability, which is achieved thanks to its miniature size and electric power steering, encourages car owners to purchase this model. If we put together the advantages of the joint product of the Japanese concerns Mitsubishi and Nissan, they look like this. They are mainly related directly to the desire to reduce the size and weight of the car. Low power and capricious motor. Complicated variator design. The suspension is not adapted to Russian roads. cost and availability of spare parts and analogs for them. Most Nissan Dayz I cars are delivered from Japan to the Russian Federation with a mileage of up to 50,000 kilometers, so the vast majority of them are in very good condition and do not require additional attention during the initial stages of operation. And at times when problem-free operation gives way to regular forced repairs, due to the lack and high cost of spare parts, owners prefer to get rid of the car by selling it. Therefore, when purchasing this car on the secondary market, you should approach it with special care, without relying on the appearance of the car, which remains in new condition for a long time.